maybe he doesn't have the right approach because maybe he doesn't understand the enemy. I've been telling you all since last week about a really exceptional article in The Atlantic entitled What ISIS Really Wants. I recommend you all read it. It's available online. Well, I have right now the author, Graeme Wood, here with me. He investigated ISIS. He investigated the roots of the terror organization. He joins me now with more of his intel on it. Graeme, welcome.
Thank you.
A really outstanding piece. And I think that the one quote that I've cited numerous times since I read this was your remark that what people may not understand here, or they want to not recognize, is that Islamic State is Islamic. And you go on to say very Islamic. Does the religion itself play a vital role in terms of what these terrorists are doing and what they want? And how much does that hinder our ability to go after them?
Yeah, when the president says that ISIS is not Islamic or that it has nothing to do with Islam, he's just factually incorrect. They certainly derive inspiration from religious texts. Mm-hmm. There are others who derive the opposite inspiration. Most Muslims don't agree with ISIS. But absolutely, they're within the Islamic tradition, and they take their inspiration from a reading of texts, which they know quite well.
So this is radical Islamism. This is extreme Islamism.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And, you know, we might compare it to the way that David Koresh would be a kind of Christian who's rejected by most Christians. But is he reading the Bible? Yes, he's reading it in his own way. There's no question that ISIS knows the Quran, it knows the Hadith, and it finds a very, very barbaric interpretation of those texts.
Does it make them that much more challenging as an enemy, given that they can go back to this document, this historical document, the Quran, and say, okay, well, we can take solace in this, we have our power from this?
Yeah, it's awfully difficult to challenge them or to fight them if we don't understand what they actually think. And absolutely, you have to look at the sources that they cite to find out exactly how they think of themselves. So if we say that actually they're all Baathists, actually they're all secular people, as some people do, then we misunderstand why they're so appealing to so many people. You know, you quoted 4,000 Europeans. Why are they doing this? It's because they think that the Islamic State is the fulfillment of some dream, and it's a religious dream.
Well, and you talk about that dream and that religious dream is the caliphate and the apocalypse. In your piece, you basically say that they have derived all this power, not just from the religion itself, but of course through the creation of this caliphate that they have long wanted, where they have a state that they can govern in this religious fashion. So in order to really destroy them, do you need to destroy the caliphate?
Well, so by having a caliphate, they really think that if you take a piece of territory and you rule it in a proper Islamic way, then all these steps will fall into motion leading to the apocalypse. So if you show them that, no, you don't have this territory, you don't have a place to flock to, then you might be able to tell them that, no, your dream is a false one. The caliph that you've appointed is not the one that's foretold in prophecy.
Right now they have a place to recruit to, where people can go and train that are sympathetic with ISIS. Let me ask you just about the reporting in this. How did you do a lot of this background investigation? You were telling me you actually looked at Twitter for a lot of it.
So a lot of the recruitment that was happening, especially about a year ago, was happening openly. You could just read the conversations that people were having between Syria and, say, London, and find out exactly how they were presenting themselves. So I watched that. I tried to intercept as much of that as possible. And then they were pumping out statements at a really furious clip saying what they thought. So I read all of those. And then finally I went and I found supporters of the Islamic State.
And you spoke to them?
I spoke to them just like I'm talking to you, over meals, over coffee, and I asked them, what the heck are you thinking? What is motivating you? What do you believe the Islamic State's all about?
They knew you were a journalist.
Yeah, I told them exactly who I was. And, you know, when you approach these people with a journalistic spirit of inquiry, then they think it's actually their obligation to talk to you and to educate you about these things.
It must have been hard, I mean, as a journalist.
Well,
to do that. I mean, it's the kind of thing where, you know, it makes your skin crawl, and you're there talking to them over a meal.
And they'd be telling me why sex slavery is a good thing. They'd be telling me why cutting the hands off of thieves is the right way to deal with that particular crime. So, yeah, they would say things that absolutely would give you the willies, but you know, to find out what they think, you have to ask them.
Well, it's a very important piece, and people should read it. Thank you for your reporting. Really outstanding, and thanks for joining me here today, Graeme.
Thanks.